Is Star Wars Rebels any good? Let's find out right now. Yo, what's up everyone? I hope you're doing well. Today I'm going to be doing a review of Rebels. I wasn't going to review this show before Ahsoka because I wasn't even going to watch it, but people told me to watch it before Ahsoka so you know the characters, and I wasn't disappointed. Let's just say that I'm very happy that I tuned in and watched all 4 seasons. It took me like a week to binge all 4 because I was that much into the show. I had a really fun time watching it. But let's get into a quick overview of our show. We're going to go over each season, but I'm mostly going to stick with talking about the last season, season 4, because it's basically the major lead up to Ahsoka. But basically, Rebels takes you on an adventure with a clever crew who takes over a starship Ghost, and they take a stand against the Empire and new villains. And basically, they go on many adventures that lead them to the end of their series, which is season 4, going against Admiral Thrawn. That's basically like a big overview of what the show is. I'm going to go into some spoilers in the show, so if you don't want major spoilers for the show, I would get on it, start watching it. But if you just want to get into it, get into the show with me, let's just talk about it right here. Dave Filoni is the main creator of the show, just like the Clone Wars, just like kind of Mandalorian, all that. I think he did really well with this. He directed many episodes. I think he directed like 50 or more episodes. I thought he did really well. He does really well with Star Wars, especially animation, especially like these outliers, especially since they're Rebels, they're outlier characters. And I thought he did a really good job creating the show. You know, it's a show, like I said, that I wasn't anticipating it to be very good, but I had a great time with it. I think it's a very fun show. Anyone can enjoy it. If you're just going into Star Wars looking for something fun, I think that this could be a good entry point for you, even though it takes place after some movies, some TV shows. You know, I feel like you can still get some main takeaways about what's happening in the main Star Wars universe. So I feel like, you know, watch the show. Come on, do yourself a favor and watch it. Watch it before Ahsoka, watch it after Ahsoka. You probably can't watch it before now because it'll take you a while, but watch it after Ahsoka. It's really good. And, you know, this story takes place on many different planets, but Lothal is their home base for all the rebels. And I really did love the look of this place. You know, I thought that sometimes we're getting too much of some planets like Tatooine and other planets, but I thought Lothal was a really nice looking planet. I loved how a lot of the story took place there, even though they go to many other planets. But I really did love it. You know, I love finding a new place in the Star Wars universe, and it really like takes you abroad. You know, it takes you into that place. It really makes it your new home for this show, and it was a new home for this show. And as I said, I love the feel of this show. It's a fun show, which can get pretty emotional at times, can get pretty action-packed, but at its core, it's a fun show about our main group of rebel characters just going against the Empire, and they're basically, at the start, they're basically like nobodies, and at the end, they're basically like a huge crew in like the fight of the Empire. They're really in the main stage at the end of the series. So I really just had a fun time. It's an easy watch, as I said. Only 4 seasons. I think total episodes combined. Oh, I don't know how many episodes there are combined. I know there's 22 episode seasons, 15 episode seasons, somewhat like that. But they're only like 22-minute episodes, so you can really watch this really fast. Like, you can watch all 4 seasons in like 2 weeks if you just watch like 4 episodes a day. It's a really easy show to watch. I mean, I didn't watch all the episodes just to get ready for Ahsoka. I just watched like some main episodes. Like, I really skipped on some episodes because they're kind of filler. I looked at a list on Reddit and I found a good list, so I stuck with basically like I watched like 80% of the show, 80% of the episodes, so I watched basically all of it. But as I said, it's a fun watch, easy watch. Go watch it. So for our characters of the show, we have Ezra, Sabine, Zeb, Hera, Kanan, all of those characters. Those are our main rebels. And Ezra, I really did enjoy him as our main character. Our basically big Jedi. He becomes a Jedi because he starts feeling like those Jedi abilities. And I really did love him. You know, from the first season, first couple episodes, I thought he was kind of delinquent. Like, you know, he's a kid. Of course he's going to be a delinquent. But I love how he grew up. You know, his character really grew up in those later seasons, and he becomes a leader in season 4. Love that for him. I can't wait to see where his character goes down the line in the Star Wars universe. Sabine, though, she's one of my favorite characters in the series, just like Ezra. I think Sabine is my second favorite character. I do like Ezra and Sabine's relationship. I didn't really tell if it was a romantic relationship or not, or it's just like a family like friend relationship, because I knew the rebels are all kind of like a big family, and like I said, they're all a big family of misfits, and so I wasn't sure if there's like romance going on between them or not. I'm not really going to guess right now, but Sabine, she was an awesome character, a Mandalorian, in fact, and I loved her look. She has like colored hair, her costume is really colorful. I love the whole look of her, and we get to see her in Ahsoka more. Zeb, I think he's a really funny character, but I didn't really get too invested with him. I think he's just there for main comic relief, but we do still follow his character in a major arc in some different ways. And Hera and Kanan are basically like the two main parents of the crew, I guess you could say. They're two main adults, and they do have a romantic relationship. I did like their relationship, and I did like Kanan as a Jedi. We figure out he's a Jedi, and I did like him a lot, especially when he gets blinded, which is actually pretty bad to him. But I liked where his character went after he got blinded by Darth Maul. And as I said, they're a family. We all love a big family group, and this one had a big family group. And we see Darth Maul return in this one, because I watched season 7 of Clone Wars before going into this. I didn't watch all of Clone Wars. I've seen most of it, but I watched all season 7. I watched where Darth Maul went, and I thought his character did good in that season. And then we jump to him in here, and he's trying to like lure Ezra into some traps here, trying to force him to the dark side. I love kind of like those episodes. And then I loved how Darth Maul got to end his fight with Obi-Wan, but he dies because that's all Darth Maul wanted. He just wanted to fight Obi-Wan, wanted to prove that he was better, but he died so fast against Obi-Wan. It was kind of anticlimactic, but it was also sad at the same time to see Darth Maul just go out like that. He just wanted to fight, He didn't really have a good life because he got turned evil really young, but Darth Maul, that's the end of his character. And then Kanan does die in season 4. And it kind of makes Ezra the new leader, which I did kind of appreciate. We did need a sacrifice from one of the characters. Because you're going this long, you kind of do need one character to die at some point. And I don't know, was I mad that it was Kanan? Kind of, because he's such a cool character, cool, interesting character. And I would have liked to see him go beyond that. But it's just like one of those things. You got to have some emotional development, and that was a great emotional development to kill that character, and it kind of affected the whole group, and it made Ezra step up, made every character step up, like Sabine and Ezra. They're like the new leaders of the group, and I loved how Ezra took a stand. He took a stand, sacrificed himself in the end, and he becomes a really great young Jedi. I guess you could say he's like 18, 19 at the end. And I do love how his Jedi abilities work. He's really good with animals. He loves communicating with them. He can communicate with them very well. Love his lightsaber. He's got a green lightsaber. I love it. And I did love his first lightsaber that he made. I love the look of the handle on that. I thought it was awesome. I did love Kanan training him during these big scenes. So I did love Kanan and Ezra's relationship on how Ezra became a Jedi and who he is to this day. And Ahsoka does return in this show. We do see her in a couple of seasons, and she does have a kind of like a rematch, first fight, I guess you could say, against Vader, and that fight was awesome. One of my favorite parts of the show, I think. And she does actually die during that fight, but Ezra does bring her back, which is kind of cool. I love how Ahsoka was kind of like dying. She died for part of the series, but then she got brought back, so that's awesome. And Vader, he's as menacing as ever in this series, so I love to see him in there, especially in season 2, because he was like the main villain of season 2. And then we have Grand Admiral Thrawn for part of season 3, but he's like the main villain of season 4. And we will get to see him again in Ahsoka, which I'm kind of excited about because, I thought Admiral Thrawn was such a cool villain, kind of menacing villain. But I think that we need to see so much more of him for me to really get scared of him. Because Darth Vader, I'm scared of him as a villain. Except in Obi-Wan, I wasn't that scared of him there. But that's because we get so much more development. So I'm hoping we get more development on Thrawn and what he's become in Ahsoka. That will be very exciting for me. And I loved Ezra's sacrifice with the Purrgil going against Thrawn in the last episode of season 4. I love that little sacrifice with that. And the Purrgil are actually really cool characters. I love how they can just go through, basically warp through time, just go through space and all that. I love those characters. I thought they were cool creatures. I was kind of sad though and distraught when Ezra disappeared. We don't get to see him in that final epilogue of the last episode, and I kind of sad about it. He was such a great character. He had such great development. One of the best characters in Star Wars for me, especially because he was like a cool Jedi. But we will get to see him hopefully in Ahsoka. I'm wondering where Ezra and Thrawn have been all that time. I forget how long, but I know there's a time jump in the epilogue of Rebels, so I'm wondering how long that is. But then at the end of season 4, we get to see Ahsoka return, so I was very excited about that. do love Ahsoka, and she's kind of like in a white outfit and kind of got like a white staff. I don't know what's going on with that. If you guys could tell me in the comments, I'd love to hear it. But then let's talk about the animation. You know, this is kind of like very simplistic animation, I would think, if you compare it to like something like Arcane, Spider-Verse, New TMNT. The animation of Rebels is like very simple, very just like kids animation, and this show is mainly for kids. It's rated like Y7 or something, but you know, as I said, a lot of adults can find this to be such a fun time. It has a lot of adult themes, and there's a lot of very violent moments in some of the episodes and very like sad moments that some characters go through. So I'm not saying it's for kids, but it is kind of for kids and adults at the same time. So I think everyone can basically enjoy it in that factor, and I do love it. You know, I do love some simplistic animation because it reminds me of my childhood when that's all I watch. I just watch animated shows all throughout my time of my childhood, so it kind of reminds me of that. So I loved it. You know, I love the animation, love how it worked, and I love how it can basically work for kids and adults. And the Star Wars lore of this show kind of develops even more for me because it kind of introduced a lot of stuff that I wasn't familiar with, like Lothal, like these like the different wolves that Ezra was speaking to, different creatures, different characters, like our new rebels. I love how so much lore is invested into this show, and I love how much more I know about Star Wars and how many different villains were introduced, like Thrawn. That's gonna be such a cool villain. I love how I was introduced to him before Ahsoka, because maybe I wouldn't have liked him more if I just saw him in Ahsoka, but now I got his introduction here, so we can go into Ahsoka better. So as I said, the lore here is really cool. I love how everything is expanded and you can learn so much more about the Star Wars universe. And as I said, we got Ahsoka coming out I think a week from when I'm uploading this, so I'm very excited for that show now, because when I watched the first trailer, I was like, what the heck is happening? Where are we? Who are these characters? Who's got the colorful hair? Who's that? But now I know that's Sabine. We got Ahsoka, of course, and then we got Hera's in there also. We got Ezra showing up, hopefully. Got Admiral Thrawn, as I said, returning. We're in Lothal. It's gonna be so fun. I can't wait. If you watch Rebels, you're gonna have so much more fun with Ahsoka. I was gonna be so confused with Ahsoka, but now I'm not. And I'm just interested. I'm very interested to see where they're going to take these characters. Dave Filoni, I think, is behind Ahsoka also. So I'm interested where that's going to, like, take your characters. Hopefully we get to see all the Rebel characters return. That would be cool, but I'm not going to get my hopes up. But, you know, it kind of brings me to the point of, are any of these Rebel characters going to return in Dave Filoni's new Star Wars movie that he's developing? Because we did hear about that movie. And it's going to be kind of like a Mandalorian movie, but I'm hoping that Dave Filoni can bring all of his characters into that movie, because it would be so cool to see Rebel characters on the big screen theater. I would love that. You know, they kind of deserved it. They're some of the best characters in Star Wars, I think, in my opinion. I think this show is so damn amazing. Like, I loved it. So overall, I think Star Wars Rebels is worth your time. It's a very short watch, as I said, 20-minute episodes. The show has a fun family feel. The group of rebels are awesome. Every character has a pretty good arc in it, especially Ezra and Sabine. They have pretty good arcs. Kanan, of course. And I just love the feel of the show. As I said, the animation works for everyone. You can get some adults to watch it, kids to watch it. And I would actually suggest that you guys watch a couple episodes or season 4 as a whole before Ahsoka to really get a feel of the show, the characters, and Grand Admiral Thrawn, of course. And yeah, I really just loved it. So I'm going to give Star Wars Rebels a 9 out of 10. I was not expecting to love this show as much as I did, but it's just a fun show, you know? These characters are awesome. I probably will rewatch this show sometime in the future, but as I said, hopefully we see our Rebel crew again in the movie or in more shows, so I'm excited for Ahsoka. I will be reviewing the episodes of Ahsoka on YouTube Shorts, but I will review the whole season as a whole video when it all comes out. But I hope you guys enjoyed this video of me reviewing Star Wars Rebels. If you did, make sure to leave a like. It helps out a lot. Subscribe to my channel. I upload almost every day. I love making content, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace out.